Is Harry Kane the most complete striker in world football? Big up to your damn selves. Obviously, I spoke about, the best striker, who I still think might just be Erling Haaland. If we're just talking about a natural striker, poacher, someone who can score an abundance of goals, I think Erling maybe, but again, I'm not going to argue with anybody who thinks otherwise. I don't think when you're at this kind of level, when you're at the Erling Haalands, the Harry Kanes, the Kylian Mbappes, all these kind of guys, right? I feel like then it just becomes about preference more than anything else. So you're gonna like a certain type of striker. Obviously, every team has a different need for their striker. So some people need their striker to be really good at link up play. So you might look at people like Harry Kane. Some people need forwards who can drift out to that left hand side, drift out to the right. Can play through the middle, can play in the pockets. All of these kind of things. You might look at a Kylian Mbappe. Some Obviously, like I mentioned before, you just need a poacher. I just need you to score the goals, bro. Do you know what I mean? Can you do that? Yeah, no worries. So you might then look at an Erling Haaland. So again, I think when you're at this level, when people like having these debates and stuff like that, I hear it because again, the debates are there to be had, but ultimately we're splitting hairs, man. Like those are the three best strikers in world football. After that, then you're just kind of it is what it is, when it comes down to that. But obviously we're here talking about Harry Kane, and he's phenomenal. He like his goal scoring, it hasn't slowed down. Like he hasn't stopped scoring goals. Like it's getting ridiculous now, at this kind of stage when we're talking about Harry Kane. The amount of goals that this guy scores. And this is why when we have the debates about strikers, even when we're talking about yesteryear strikers, and you're like, oh, but he's better because he scored. Listen, if that was the case, Alan Shearer should be the best ever striker to ever grace the Premier League. I'm pretty sure most people don't even have him in their top five. Do you know what I mean? So it's just one of those kind of things. Don't look so much at GA obviously helps. And when we talk about strikers, I don't care about the assists. When we talk about strikers and it's about goals, of course, the goals always help. They always help. It would be silly not to judge a striker by the amount of goals, right? But like I said, when you're at the top, when you're more or less scoring as many goals as these guys do, I don't really like. I'm not comparing Haaland to Mbappe to Kane because of the goals that they score. That would be stupid. Do you know what I mean? They all score goals. Do you know what I mean? Like they've all had seasons where they've scored 40 goals. Do you get what I mean? So then I'm like, oh, what? He got 44, or he got 46, or he got 41. Does that mean he's the worst? Nah, not at all. Do you know what I mean? It would then, like I said, it comes down to the preference of the individual, obviously speaking. That's when, the debate really starts to get, real lit up with fire. And I think when it comes to like Harry Kane and, what he's been doing, I mean, this season alone, just this is his stats from this season. At the time of this video, the 21st of September, I'm doing this video. So, you know, he might score in the time by the time I even post this video out. He's got 13 goals, guys. He's got 13 goals. He's only played 7 games. Last season, he got 41 in 51. The season before that, he got 44 in 45. In the season before that, which was his last season at Spurs, he got 32 in 49. This guy only knows the back of the net. Don't play with him. Don't play with Harry Kane, man. We're talking about one of the most complete, and I do mean complete players. When we're talking about, style of play and stuff like that. And like I said, of course, for Vincent Company, for I think it was Thomas Tuchel. Is it Thomas Tuchel? No, I think he's always been with Vincent. No, Thomas Tuchel. So when we're talking about like what he's needing, and even for England as well, when we're kind of when we're looking at it, like we know what he's on passing for a striker. Just trying to think off the top of my head, I can't say. No, I'm in fact no. I'm going to say for certain he's the best striker at passing. I do not know one striker who's better than him at passing a football. He passes better than most midfielders that I know. His passing range is ridiculous. It is ridiculous. Like some of the things that Harry Kane can do with the ball, it's mad. It's mad. But one of the things I was thinking about was like when he started to go to this, oh, let me start dropping deep, let me start, getting involved in play. And I think that was around about the time that, Jose Mourinho at Spurs, he was kind of, that's when it really started to mold into something. And I don't know if he had a conversation with Jose Mourinho about that and stuff like that, because it's almost like doing what Wayne Rooney did. Do you know what I mean? Wayne Rooney, obviously brilliant goal scorer, but then, wanted to play a bit further back because he wanted to get involved in the link up play and things like that. I don't know if that's what Harry Kane decided, or maybe he even looked at it and thought, you know what, I want to improve something because his finishing is like 10 out of 10 anyway, right? Left foot, right foot, headers, he's got all of that. So there's nothing you can teach him about finishing that he's going to learn off anybody, right? So he's got that in abundance. He's relatively strong, which kind of surprises me at times when I think about Harry Kane. So he can do the hold up play. Touch, oh my lord, his first touch, crazy first touch sometimes, man. So he's got all of that. Like, so just being a normal natural striker, he's kind of got that. So I don't know if he looked at it and thought to himself, you know what, I kind of want to, improve as a player more than anything. And also, of course, subsequently then improving as a striker, right? Because why did you feel the need that I need to drop deeper? You know what I mean? Like, you didn't need to. You was banging goals further up the field anyway. But now you're getting involved, link up play. He's finding the passes, even playing under Vincent Company. You can see him in these pockets of spaces, picking up the ball, feeding it to the likes of, Elise's, the Jamal Musialas, the Gnabry's, and now you're obviously, Luis Diaz, obviously there at Bayern Munich. And even when he doesn't do that, again, he's one of the most smart, like he is one of the most smartest strikers that I know in world football. The runs he makes, the positions that he takes up on the field, it is just ridiculous. And I think having someone like him, I mean, Vincent Company is really lucky when he came in, he had a striker like Harry Kane there, because boy, if he didn't, yeah, he would really be relying on them wingers to get some crazy kind of output. And not say that they can't. Obviously, Elise is good. Diaz can obviously do that, as he's shown at Liverpool. But crazy output, like the kind of output that Harry Kane is kind of giving you. And I think his move there, and I heard Michael Owen obviously, Mike's my guy, right? But yeah, I just felt like, nah, man, he definitely needed to move. Obviously, I get it. Yeah, you talk about stay in England, break the Premier League record, and yeah, he could have done that. He could have done that. But yeah, I don't know, man. Like, you look back at your career, and you just sometimes you think to yourself, and listen, he might, I don't know what he's gonna say when he retires, but he might just look back at it and say, nah, man, I needed a sign in my trophy cabinet. Do you know what I mean? I can't just show my kids bare golden boots. That's kind of dead. I need to show trophies. You know what I mean? And I ain't got none. Like, I've got zero. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, there's obviously gonna be, the kind of catch 22 with that. But even here, I mean, you're looking at, like I said, the style of play, and obviously the style of play of what Vincent Company's been doing, at Bayern Munich. Again, Harry Kane is very central towards helping the team click further forward up the field, because what he's able to do in terms of be that kind of link man. And it's weird because even if you guys can see the heat map of Harry Kane, it's not in the box, it's outside the box. And it's kind of on that left-hand side. Obviously, him being right-footed, it does make a little bit of sense. But he's also over there on that right-hand side. And I've seen him pick up the ball right-hand side, feed the ball in to an oncoming winger or one of the midfielders running into the box late and things like that. He's done that. Harry Kane can do that. But you can see when he's in the team, and for Vincent Company, you almost need that kind of point man. He's like I'm trying to think, man. It's like, I don't want to go too far, like with the kind of comparisons, but it kind of reminds me of like a Kobe Bryant. Them kind of guys where you're like, he can do everything. He obviously he's got a main thing that he does, which is I need to score the points and I can put the team on my back, which is what obviously Kobe did at the Lakers. Obviously, after him and Shaq obviously did the 2-man step, but he can put a team on their back and he can do everything that I need to do. I'll do my job. That's what he's on. I'll do my job. You guys at the back, just make sure you do your job. Unfortunately, at Spurs, it didn't work out like that. And that's one of the reasons why I said, yeah, he had to kind of move, because he can't keep putting the team on his back. As much as he loves the club and all of that kind of stuff coming through and one of their own and all of that, he needs to move to get them trophies. And I'll be real, I feel like he ain't never looked back since. Again, look at the pockets of spaces that he is picking up. He always makes those blindside. I've rated strikers like that a lot, by the way, because I feel like that's almost like a dying breed at this moment, where strikers run on the blind side of the defender. It's those smart runs. Sometimes we got too many strikers who want to be false nines or false tens or whatever the hell that they're called these days, and or they want to be dragged out to the left, dragged out to the right, and you don't want to just play through the middle. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's like you don't trust everybody, or it's almost like you don't trust your abilities to be able to play in the middle. Kane is not shook on nobody. He can do that job in the middle of the park, and I think playing under Vincent Company, one of the things that I would say he's improved upon, if you could really say that, is his pressing. He makes these intelligent pressing runs, towards the opposition, which then allows for the team. So the wingers, whether it's Jamal Musiala, Luis Diaz, Elise on that right hand side, or Gnabry when he's obviously put in, it allows for them to be able to, try and win the ball back. Because obviously he's not the quickest, but he's got pace, but he's not the quickest, so to speak. But he's got enough pace to be able to get away, and his touches are so good. It's almost like it don't really matter with Harry Kane. Do you know what I mean? And you can see again intelligent pressing from Harry Kane, man. That's why I look at him and just think you have to be the most complete forward, because you can kind of do everything. There isn't really many things I look at and think, no, he can't do that. Do you get what I mean? Like I said, first touch, he's got that. Cut up against two defenders, he's got that. Can sly running behind, given enough room, he can kind of do that. Not against everybody, of course. I'm not gonna sit there and lie, but he can kind of do that anyway. Like it's just ridiculous, man. Honestly, it really is just ridiculous when we're looking at it. And like I said, the output that he's been able to give, and this is where the stats and all that kind of stuff come into play. If I'm not even just talking about when you watch him, when the stats come into play, bro, there's not many people who are better than Harry Kane. Do you know what I mean? So he definitely deserves his flowers. I mean, look at that 91st percentile non-penalty goals, shot creating actions. He creates 3.48 per game. This is per 90 minutes, 92nd. But this is a striker. Passes attempted, pass completion is at 90%. He gets 78% per game. Progressive passes per 90 minutes is 3.45. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Do you get what I'm saying? Like this is interceptions is good. That's what I'm saying. He's improving in that part of the game. Like, listen, man, don't like I keep telling, don't sleep on Kane. I think Kane gets a little bit because it's Bayern Munich, right? I think obviously they get a bit of a bad rep because obviously it's the Bundesliga. They win it 9 times out of 10, kind of thing, which is, yeah, literally how it has actually been in the last 10 years, to be fair. So I get it. I fully do get that. So you're not going to, it's like Bayern Munich always going to be viewed as like that kind of team where it's like PSG. Like you need to probably win the Champions League like PSG, because if PSG didn't win the Champions League, people just wouldn't have taken them as serious. Whereas as they carried on winning games, got to the final, then won, and then emphatically the way that they did, you respect them. Now you're like, nah, PSG one of the best teams in the world. Before they weren't, and when I say one of the best teams, they're probably like top 2, top 3 team in the world. Whereas before, you never really looked at PSG like that. Do you get what I'm saying? So yeah, I think that's one of the things with Bayern Munich. Hence why I feel like I almost feel not that he's underrated, but he's underrated. If you get what I mean, it's like he is one of, if not the best, like striker in general. Like I said, I pick Haaland, but I couldn't argue if someone said Harry Kane, right? It just comes down to preference at that point. But I almost feel like people they're like, yeah, but it's the Bundesliga. I'm like, the Bundesliga, brother. You just saw his last season at Spurs. He scored 30 goals at Spurs. Like, and no disrespect to Spurs, but that's Spurs, who are not one of the best teams in this league. Or they're like top 6, I guess you could look at it like that. But do you get what I mean? Like, they're not one of the top 2 teams like how it would be in the Bundesliga or in Spain kind of thing, or even in England in itself, France and stuff like that. He's literally one of like the 6th best, 7th best team in the league that he's obviously coming from. So for him to then go to Bayern Munich, which is the bigger club, and then be able to show that, yeah, man, like I have to give him the praise, man. So I want to know what you guys think about Harry Kane, really and truly. Like I said, it comes down to preference. So I'm not arguing with anybody. I'm not gonna go back and forth like, oh, if you think he's the best, I will agree with you. I honestly, I will just agree with you, because it is what it is when it comes to someone like Harry Kane. But let me know where you rank him. Let me know, do you generally believe, yeah, he is definitely one of, if not the best striker in world football? And let me know your thoughts, and I'll catch you guys real soon. Peace.